Fitzsimmons and Mike Gibbons. They cover all the news from front to back, and Greg closes every show discussing Blondie's rack. Sunday papers, yeah.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Sunday papers. They're here. Listen, they're slapping onto your doorstep right now. You can hear the squeal of your paperboy's bike going off to the next house.
Did we start? That's the start?
I thought it'd be fun to kind of do like a whole big thing.
Oh, no, it's great. No, then we started. I still had it on speaker and my headphones weren't in and all that shit. I like it. I like this start a lot. This is our new start.
You know, I was thinking
I didn't check levels.
I was thinking about like Paperboys, you know, when you go back, everybody's got the newsy cap on, but do they really understand what a newsboy used to do? Like in the 1930s, 40s, New York City, street corners, like guys literally stood there with a bag and a paper, and they screamed. There were so many Paperboys that they were hustling. They
must have gotten bored and made up stories too.
Yeah.
You know, Rockefeller sucks his own junk right here. What? 25 nickel, whatever it is.
Yeah. Betty Boop, naked this week. Blondie.
FDR walks. He walked. I'm sure he did. Here you go. I don't know.
Depression's over. Read all about it.
Yeah, that is true.
You get the paper every day?
I do get the LA Times every day. It was yet another effort for me to try to embrace this city. I've been here now over 20 years and I'm still adjusting. And also for kids, I wanted my kids to see me with a paper every day, which has not worked.
No,
and
they look at it like, why did they screenshot yesterday's news and print it really big on something that's hard to turn the page of?
And I'm the same way with my dad. My dad's so desperate to get the New York Times in the morning. I'm like, he's like, hey, did you see this? I'm like, yes, I saw it. I saw it at dinner time last night when the New York Times put it online. Like, and I'm a subscriber. I get the hard copy New York Times Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And with that comes a digital subscription.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get the Sunday New York Times and that's it. And but you know, digitally, you're getting most of the Sunday paper stories on Saturday, which is why we're able to do this podcast. We record it on Saturday, late in the day. They turn it around and get it to you motherfuckers Sunday morning. So you can have your coffee, smoke your pipe.
Huh. Seems old school. How's everybody doing? How are our listeners doing? It's another week.
Yeah, it's
another
week.
You know what I've been thinking about?
What?
Remember we had our kind of farewell dinner. We saw the writing on the wall, and we all went to Cha Cha Chicken, which is amazing. We should do an ad. Would we get paid? Eat at Cha Cha Chicken if you ever eat out again.
On Pico in Santa Monica.
Yeah, right by the ocean.
No, not Pico, on Ocean.
And it's outdoors, which is no, it's Pico. It's a corner, and that's why we went, is because they have these outdoor tables and outdoor public drinking because you're outside. Anyway, that was early March.
Yeah.
That was 5 months ago, basically.
4.5 months ago.
And what I find, I don't know if anyone else is finding this, like, I'll be like, oh man, another week. All right, here we go. And it's like, all right, so Monday happens, right? And you're like, okay. And it's slow to get things grinding and going. And then you kind of figure out everything you have to do, and maybe even get a bunch of stuff done Monday. And then what happens to me every week is Tuesday just almost instantly becomes Friday. It just goes from Tuesday to Friday.
Right.
And that's kind of the pattern I've felt lately. Like Tuesday you'll be like, oh wow, it's only Tuesday, and then all this stuff, and all of a sudden it's the weekend. You know, not in a traditional sense of a weekend, but all of a sudden it's like, all right, what are we, I have the kids, what are we doing? So yeah, with that time, like hours are slow, but months seem to be slipping by pretty quickly.
Yeah. And my week changes because I used to. It used to be that the kids were out all weekend, and I was working during the week. And now the kids have part-time jobs during the week, and they're home on the weekends. So now I throw a move on the wife like on a Monday or a Tuesday.
Okay.
As opposed to the weekend.
So that's a long week for Erin.
She just seems sad during the weekends now.
She just goes right from a Monday or Tuesday to a blackout.
All right, listen, Mike, we could chat all day, but people tune in. Oh, first of all, let's give a shout out to James Enriquez, who did today's theme song, which I really liked.
Yes, that was a really good one.
Yeah.
They're all good. I mean, it's so great that they keep coming in. It's amazing.
I know. And they're getting better and they're getting worse. Like I'm finding the high end higher and the low end so silly. I mean, people are literally just like getting drunk, getting on GarageBand and recording something, and those are just as good. So Mike and I are going to start doing a second segment. You've begged for it. You've suggested it.
Wow, this is happening. Okay.
We're gonna do a short Thursday. Should we call it Thursday paper? And
Thursday edition, yeah. What is it called?
And we're going to cover comics. We're going to do extra Sunday funnies that'll be different ones than you hear on Sunday. We're going to do an extra movie review, and we're going to do letters from you guys, and we're going to play in full some of the songs we receive, and other stuff. It'll be a shorter podcast, maybe 20 minutes, but it'll be something just to throw out some more content.
Condense. No, wait, that's not happening this Thursday, right?
No, next Thursday.
Thank God.
That'll be Thursday, probably August by then.
Thursday's one of my flyover days. It's like, remember, I jumped from Tuesday to Friday, so we'll see how that goes.
And also our logo, David Hughes did a beautiful logo for us this week. Kind of retro, old school, a couple guys on a bicycle. We should also hit corrections, which we do every week, mostly because Mike and I lie, apparently. We don't try to, but we both have ADHD, and we're getting older, and we don't always get the facts right. Brian Gullickson said, you said your daughter was watching a lot of RuPaul Drag Race recently. You mentioned it appeared that many of them have had gender reassignment surgery, but much like other aspects of drag, looks can be deceiving. By and large, those queens are fully peniled men who are engaging in a time-honored tradition of drag known as tucking. Basically, you shove your whole dick and balls into some unholy mixture of back or up and in. I don't know what up and in means. I don't want to know. You then have to dance around on stage with your genitals strapped down like an Apollo astronaut. Sometimes it's an absolute work of art, as seen in the links below, which I saw and are on the website. It's incredible, like G-string thongs, and you're like, where's the dick? Other times it's not as successful, which can be referred to as a meaty tuck.
Well, I'd like to say that you were absolutely correct, and he even says so himself. Looks can be deceiving, and that's exactly what you said. You said it appears that they have had their post-op.
But in fact, I don't think any of them have had gender reassignment surgery. I think drag specifically is gentlemen who become ladies. And
but the goal is the appearance that they have nothing down there, right?
Have you or have you not ever done a tuck in front of your friends where you tucked your cock between your legs?
Oh, a mangina? Obviously. Yeah. Yes,
have you?
Of course. Yeah. Duh.
High school?
Yeah. I don't know. I think in public even, didn't we? Wait a minute. At my bachelor party, and it sounds like the beginning of the worst bro story ever. But didn't our friend Matt, didn't we chant mangina in that steakhouse and he got up and did one?
Matt did?
I think so. No, not Matt H, not Matt M.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I think he did. But anyway, of course, mangina's been around even before vaginas.
I have a friend who was a struggling comic like me back in Boston, back in the early 90s. And I did this thing
Tom?
No.
Oh, okay.
I left a camera rolling in my bedroom, and all the guests at the party went in one by one, and they had a couple minutes to leave a message. And this guy, Kevin, did a mangina for the camera, and he is now a famous actor. And I occasionally send him the clip saying, like, stay on my good side, buddy. This can come out anytime.
Yeah. Right, Russian hackers who are reading this email?
Yeah, right. The other correction was from Joe Marie Papillo, who says, I'm sure you've heard from others by now, but I wanted to correct something said on the July 12th podcast. The star of the HBO miniseries, I Know This Much Is True, was the fabulous Mark Ruffalo and not James Franco, which is why there's no actor brother to play the other part. Yes, I confused that because there's another show called The Deuce.
I thought you did mention The Deuce. Okay.
Where James Franco plays his own brother, and I got them confused. Finally, somebody said Frankenstein is the doctor.
That's what I said.
The person who corrects you.
I saw that letter. I said that. I said the doctor is Frankenstein and that the monster is called the creature. I think the monster is even referred to as the abortion at one point in the book. So
no shit.
But thank you for listening and sending it in. Yeah. That's true. It didn't have a name, the monster, except it was called these descriptive terms.
All right, let's get to it. Front page.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
I can't wait. What's the lead story? I don't know.
The official portraits of former presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush were removed from the grand foyer.
Oh,
at
boy.
the White
Political
House.
Story. Okay, go ahead.
They've been moved to a rarely seen room. In their previous location, the pictures would have been seen daily as Trump descends the staircase from his third-floor private residence, or when he hosts events in the White House. Now they hang in a space used mainly for storing unused tablecloths and furniture.
And intern dresses.
Well, exactly. It turns out that room wasn't that unused when Bill Clinton was president.
So has there been any comment? It's weird.
Check on those tablecloths. They just throw a black light on those tablecloths. See if there's a little Billy batter floating around.
So, yeah. Why move those two? It's weird. Like, if I were there, if I was president, those two are pretty, life-affirming guys. Like, in other words, they're not that intimidating. They were both kind of disasters in a way. I mean, Clinton had a very productive and presidency, and those 8 years were considered a success, where Bush was a disaster. But it's like, my problem would be if I came out and saw Abe Lincoln or like FDR staring at me every day. I'd be like, fuck, yeah. I know. All right. I know. Yeah. My fucking plate is full. All right. Like, it would just stress me out. Like seeing a high bar as soon as I came out of my bedroom.
Yes, that's true.
I would keep Bush and Clinton. Like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
Carter.
Not doing so great, but I'm not like those two yet.
Right. Or put up portraits of guys like Ross Perot who didn't win. That would make Trump feel good. Michael Dukakis and Ross Perot.
I think Melania just puts up all the first ladies like, I got this.
Yeah.
Hey, Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah,
not a great look.
They should have had Eleanor Roosevelt superimposed face on a horse and Melania's riding her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also in the news, Republican Senator Tom Tills of North Carolina, here you know something good is coming just from the beginning of that sentence.
Okay.
Suggested Hispanics are less likely to wear masks and social distance. Quote, just wear the mask out of respect. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a statistician, but one of the concerns that we've had more recently is that the Hispanic population now constitutes about 44% of the positive cases.
It is hitting them very hard.
And we do have some concern that in the Hispanic population, we've seen less consistent adherence to social distancing and wearing a mask. Yeah, they're also not self-quarantining, are they, Tom Tills? Yeah, He knows because they're cleaning his house, mowing his lawn, and delivering his food. Could that have anything to do with the higher rate that they're the essential workers?
So what did he say? Latinos just disregard the mask? That explains the number?
That's what he's saying. And I can tell you firsthand, living in Los Angeles, which has a very large Latino population, they're all wearing masks.
They are all wearing masks. First of all, a lot of them wear masks on their jobs when they have, I mean, the hardworking guys, when you're driving around LA and you see them working outside.
Right.
But that's like the blue collar. But I also think you're right. They're on the front lines of so many things. Like when you go here, how many nurses are Latina? It's
right.
Unbelievable.
And how many Latinos are forced to live in a house with a lot of other people? It's not like, I'm sure Tom Tills has a big mansion that used to
right.
be a slave plantation where there's plenty of space.
And a quinceañera, that's at least 300 people in a garage.
That's
at least.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And then you've got the mariachi band. They can't wear masks because how could you understand the words? I can't understand the words.
I am so surprised that racist wasn't like, and this is the problem. Their masks, the luchador masks, there's a cutout for the mouth. So the virus gets right in their Mexican
right.
masks.
And they're wrestling. Come on.
They're hugging another guy with a cutout mouth in his mask. Of course it's going to spread.
Also in the news, Miss Kentucky.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this story.
A former Miss Kentucky who admitted to exchanging explicit photos with a teenager has been sentenced to 2 years at a West Virginia prison. Ramsey Beth Ann Bierce, 29, was charged with 4 counts of sending obscene material to a minor. She sent at least 4 topless photos via Snapchat to a 15-year-old former student of hers while she was employed as a teacher at a middle school. The boy's parents found the photos on his phone and sent them to the police. Miss Bierce was crowned Miss Kentucky in 2014, and her fiddle performance won the preliminary talent competition at the National Miss America pageant. She fiddled, he diddled.
Okay, then. It's an interesting, there is definitely a double standard. And I think if I may be just at the risk of being inappropriate, I think sometimes a double standard is appropriate. No? First of all, I think how about this? What do you think about this, Greg? I'm not even trying to be funny, which will be obvious. When you're in a relationship, isn't that the real crime? Let's call it rape. Like, in other words, if you're in a relationship where you're raping someone and you're caught, the pictures were just icing. Of course, that's good. You're seeing them.
When you say raping, you're talking about statutory rape?
Yes.
Right.
So in the statutory rape, which is what she'll be charged with, right? Aren't they kind of just throwing the book at her with the pictures because the boy is seeing her real naked body in person?
Yes,
that's kind of the crime. Then of course she's texting pictures, and it's kind of like a technicality that they're getting her on with that one.
Right. No, I think it's also that he sent her dick pics.
It's like robbing a bank in Jersey, and you go back across the GW Bridge. It's like, yes, okay, stop putting so much emphasis on taking the money across state lines. He robbed a bank. Can we get back to that?
Right. I guess it's because it's all about evidence. They've got hard evidence now. And when I say hard evidence, I want to see those fucking photos.
Right.
Because she was hot. Did you see her photo?
No.
Huge rack. And, but I have to think, like, if you watch her in the swimsuit competition and you got the boner, you're going to lose it when she pulls out the fiddle.
Here you go. Maybe she just goes,
But,
I wonder if that was her speech. What do you plan to do one day? Well, I want to feed the homeless and help the poor and, of course, animals and rape.
But it's so cliche that Miss Kentucky is out there playing a fiddle. Like, did Miss Alabama play the washboard? Miss Louisiana pumped out a couple jugs of moonshine.
The dong, 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 that nose harp or whatever it's called.
couple bald guys come out with banjos. What's going on here? Bring back the swimsuit.
You know, regarding the double standard, whatever, at the risk of